Good morning and welcome to another edition of the ICC Hour here on SuperTalk Mississippi 101.9 FM. As always, the ICC Hour being presented by Renaissance Bank. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, renaissancebank.com. We've got a fun show in store for you today. We're going to kind of overview the umbrella of SuperTalk Mississippi. A good friend of mine, Will East, he's going to stop by the show and talk to us today. He also went to ICC, so he's going to talk about some of his favorite memories, some of his, maybe some of the people that he took classes under while he was here at ICC, so he'll be our guest today. We'll also talk with Coach Michael Metz about the upcoming tennis season, which, by the way, starts on Friday, along with the softball season as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show here on the ICC Hour. So yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff to get to this week, so don't go anywhere, folks. Back with more of the ICC Hour on Super Talk Mississippi right after this. At Itawamba Community College, your education is our top priority. With a 20-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, you will get the help that you need from your instructors. With 3 locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden, ICC offers classes that will prepare you to enter almost any job field of your choice. Learn more about Wallet Hub's #1 community college in Mississippi and the 25th best in the country by visiting iccms.edu or apply online at apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you, wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
Car Hop Classic for just $2.99 is the perfect 1-2 punch of flavor and value.
Time that!
You need a trainer to help you eat the burger?
Hey, stay out of this.
Don't get in my head, man. There's barely room for me in there.
Hurry in and try quarter-pound double cheeseburger or 6-inch Philly plus tots for $2.99.
My mom never let me eat this much cookie dough.
What would she say if she saw you eating this big scoop cookie dough blast?
I don't know. Why ask her?
Don't tell your father.
Oh, naughty, naughty.
Hurry in and scoop up our new cookie dough treats. Try order ahead to get happy hour anytime.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And, you know, it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I could go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best start here.
And welcome back to the ICC Hour here on Super Talk Mississippi, being brought to you by Renaissance Bank. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, renaissancebank.com. Got a good buddy of mine on the line with me today, and he is down in Jackson, Mr. Will East. Will and I go way back in our radio days, back on the, well, I probably shouldn't say the other station since we're not on that station, but on a scoreboard show back in the day. But Will, my man, good to hear from you.
Yeah, and those sons of guns, you know, forget them. No, I'm joking.
No, I'm still there, so don't say that.
Well, you know, you're the guy who really got me involved in high school football. I did the scoreboard show up until last year, the statewide scoreboard show. I still do a preview show, but before Adam Gore came along, I didn't even go to high school games because I'm from Holker. We didn't even have a high school team when I was a kid. And I had no interest. I couldn't tell you, you know, what the mascot of Baldwin was or the mascot of Boonville was or, you know, any of these these type of things. Now, because of Adam Gore, I can tell you who those mascots are and who the coaches are and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Will, of course, we had some fun back on those Friday nights, without a doubt, and then you had the opportunity to make a pretty impressive step up in your career, and it's one of those, man. I told you then, and I'll tell you again now. I'm so proud to see all your hard work and dedication to your craft pay off in that way. Let everybody know what you do now down at SuperTalk.
So I'm the network program director for SuperTalk Mississippi and kind of for TeleSouth Communications, our parent company. So SuperTalk, if you've probably heard us, if you're listening to this, you've probably heard SuperTalk before, and you kind of know that, we have 12 radio stations kind of strategically placed throughout the state from top to bottom. So from Corinth all the way down to Ocean Springs, there's 12 SuperTalk stations, and you can hear us in just about every nook and cranny of the state. And kind of the idea, and we also have music stations too. We have more music stations now. So we have a lot of music stations, but SuperTalk is kind of my main focus. But the kind of idea behind it was, let's have a radio signal that goes from top to bottom essentially and talks about what's happening in the state. And not just the bad stuff that's happening in the state, because we can turn on the national news and hear that every day.
Yeah.
But what's going on good in our state? That's the other thing. And then what can we do to kind of help improve our state? And that's basically the idea behind SuperTalk.
And the really cool thing is, and this may be what, people hear SuperTalk, hear TeleSouth, and they think Jackson, because that's where you guys are located. But, the ICC Hour, the show we're doing right now, being a prime example of that, you guys aren't just focused on what's going on Jackson. You guys focus on the entire state, as you said, from top to bottom. Things going on in Corinth. I've heard JT, he'll be on the road somewhere, down on the coast. So, you guys truly are a very unique offering whenever you say you're a statewide radio station. I don't know very many of those throughout the entire country, but you do. You don't just focus on Jackson. You almost make it a point to be more focused on everything around Jackson.
Yeah, that's kind of our idea is, our third SuperTalk station actually was in Corinth. And it really was kind of a sea change moment, because for many years, you'd have politicians, not just from Corinth, but from other parts of the state, who would, tell their constituents they're doing this, this, and this, and then they go to Jackson during the legislative session, they'd do the exact opposite. And there was no way to know unless a lot of times the paper wouldn't even report that stuff.
Yeah.
And so when SuperTalk came along, we started shedding a light on some of this stuff, and you started to see kind of a change. And now as we've grown, obviously the state has really changed. If you look at the makeup of some of the political ideologies of our representatives, but the idea was, we're going to kind of take Mississippi and bring it up to where it should be, because you turn on the national news and Mississippi is the fattest state, we're the least educated state, we're the poorest state, and all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people who just have that stinking thinking that, Mississippi's dead last, they're always going to be dead last, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, we kind of think, we can do something about it. Let's see if we can do something to improve Mississippi. And we've tried to work hard to do that, to kind of focus on not only ways we can improve, but also those good things that are happening in the state. Because, we might be, out of shape, and we might be not the richest state in the union, but you know what? We're the most generous state in the union. Let's focus on some of those good stories and bring those to the forefront. And that's kind of the idea behind SuperTalk Mississippi. And it's kind of almost like McDonald's. McDonald's, you can go to the McDonald's in Corinth, or you can go to the McDonald's in Ocean Springs, and you get the same thing. Well, the idea with SuperTalk is, you're going to hear, the same thing in Corinth that you're going to hear in Ocean Springs, but along the way, we're also going to talk about some of the really hyper-local stuff, like the ICC Hour, or, any one of the number of local shows that we have on certain hours during the weekday, focusing on just that community, not the entire state, but just that community.
Absolutely. I'm going to go over real quick your lineup here. Of course, I do encourage those that are listening to visit SuperTalk FM or supertalk.fm for more information. But Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., you've got the Gallo Radio Show. Local programming, typically Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. Then the JT Show, that comes on from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then they got the Gallo Rewind Monday through Wednesdays from 1 to 2. in a Mississippi Minute, which is a very unique show. If you never had a chance to check it out, I encourage you to do so. That's with Steve Azar. That's Thursday through Fridays, 1 to 2. Good Things with Rebecca Turner from 2 to 3 on Mondays and Fridays. And then probably one of the biggest shows on there is the Sports Talk Mississippi. That's Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. So we'll just kind of, I know you don't want to go into too much, but let's start with the Gallo Show and kind of just describe the Gallo Show to those that may have not listened to it before.
So Gallo wakes up every day at 2 o'clock.
Wow.
2 a.m. He is awake and ready to roll.
That might be when I get in bed sometimes.
Well, he gets to the office about 3:30 or so, maybe even 3 o'clock, and he starts working.
Uh-huh.
And he leaves. He does his show starting at 6 all the way till 9, and then at 9 he goes and he works some more. And then he'll go home and take a little nap, and then he'll get up and work some more. So it's not uncommon for me to get a phone call at 7 p.m. from Paul Gallo, who's about to wake up again at 2 a.m., and he's still doing stuff. And that's kind of Gallo's thing. And he asks the tough questions, and he is as talented as anybody in the business. I've had consultants who go all over the world to talk about great radio and how to be better, and they've told me that Gallo is as good as there is.
Of course, I don't have a long commute to work, but I do listen to him in the morning, and I tell you, man, I really enjoy just his presentation, how he presents his topics, and as you said, he's not afraid to ask those tough questions.
No, and Perez is not afraid to laugh at those tough questions
yes.
sometimes. So.
Yes.
And then you got your local programming from 9 to 10, and it varies throughout the state. So, in Tupelo, you'll have maybe Craig or the ICC Hour.
Yeah.
If you're on the coast, you'll listen to Ricky Matthews, who's the former editor of the Times-Picayune, or former publisher of the Times-Picayune, and the Sun-Herald, who started AL.com and NOLA.com and all these big things. Well, he hosts a show now on the coast. So, you got all these kind of local flavors going on. And then, you got JT from 10 to 1, and JT is your typical red-blooded Mississippian.
Yes.
He is, he's the everyman. He really embodies that, and, he is, what a lot of Mississippians are. He's honest. He's hardworking. He's an outdoorsman. And what you hear is what you get with JT.
Yeah.
There is no facade whatsoever. That is JT, and probably our most popular show, I would say.
I would say it's another one of those. Like I'll typically listen, as I said, on SuperTalk.fm, and he's another one of those guys. Now he wears it on his sleeve. He's not going to tell you. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's going to tell you like it is and how he sees it.
Yeah, he's not afraid to pick a fight, and he won't back down. And he has gotten. There are some laws in this state that have passed, and some laws in this state that have not passed because JT didn't agree with it or did agree with it. I mean, that's the way that it rolls. I mean, if he believes in it, he's going to fight for it, and if he believes that it's wrong, he's going to fight against it. And a lot of times, he's very influential.
Yeah.
One cool thing is, if you ever go to the state capitol, is they actually have a room where they listen to SuperTalk Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of times what they're going to be dealing with is stuff that we're talking about. And so they have like a little room where they go in there and they drink coffee and they listen to SuperTalk. And so that's a lot of influence going on there. And sometimes, they're afraid to come on and talk to us because they know that, we're not going to throw any softballs at them.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Will, I'm up against a commercial break. Let's come back and talk about the second half or the afternoon side of things. We're talking with Will East down at the headquarters of SuperTalk Mississippi Tel South down there as well. Back with more of the ICC Hour right after this.
Student involvement is a top priority here at Itawamba Community College.
If you want to be involved with student government, then the Student Government Association is the place for you.
If you have a stellar GPA, then Phi Theta Kappa is for you.
If you're interested in the diverse culture of our campus population, then the Diversity Club is for you.
If you're interested in leadership and service, then Indian Delegation is for you.
If you're majoring in computer programming or computer networking, then CPNA, the Computer Programming Networking Association, is for you.
If you're interested in good conversations and free lunch on Thursdays, then the Wesley Foundation is for you.
Our health science programs also have specific organizations for those majors.
Student Activities is excited to bring you new opportunities here at the ICC Tupelo campus.
Whatever your passion may be, we have a place for you.
This video is brought to you by Phi Theta Kappa, Beta Chi Sigma, Tupelo campus.
You live life on your own terms. You won't be told what you can't do. And we're here to back you. From the boardroom to the big stage, Renaissance Bank supports women striving for success. Because greatness isn't held to anyone's expectations, except yours. So if anyone says you can't, prove them wrong. Rise with Renaissance, supporting women in the communities they influence every day.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And, you know, it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I can go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best start here.
Attention all ICC Alumni Association and Indian Club members. You're invited to join us for the ICC Alumni Association and Indian Club Member Appreciation Night on Monday, February the 3rd. Members will get free admission to the Northeast Games, food and drinks will be provided, and you'll be able to visit with ICC coaches and staff. Not a member of the Alumni Association or Indian Club yet? You're still invited to come be a part of the evening and sign up to become a member that evening as well. For more information or questions, call 662-862-8039. That's 662-862-8039. And welcome back to the ICC Hour here on SuperTalk Mississippi, out of Tupelo, 101.9 FM, and got my good buddy Will East on the line talking about the SuperTalk brand, if you will, the statewide version of it as well. Will doing a great job down there. Are you the pride of Van Vliet or the pride of Hawka? Let me ask you that.
So I used to think that I was maybe the second most famous person from Hawka, the first being Jim Hood, our former Attorney General. But then Jeremy McClain had to go and be successful, and so now I'm pretty low on that list. And then as far as Van Vliet is concerned, I think I'm maybe the most popular.
Okay.
But no, I take that back. I can't be because my mom makes some mean spaghetti, and I think it's probably more popular than I am.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'd call me the pride.
I was trying to build you up a little bit there, but I'm also going to say Tyreek Reed, the former baseball player, now playing some minor league ball. Yeah, he's probably more popular than you too. So
as years go on, I just go down the list.
Yes. All right, so we were just talking about the morning lineup on SuperTalk Mississippi, and again, encourage everyone to visit supertalk.fm. From 1 to 2 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays, you got maybe one of the most unique and cool shows that I listen to. That's a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar. Really, I don't know if you know how the show came to be, but man, I think that's just a perfect show for the state of Mississippi.
So the way it kind of came to be was Steve Azar, who has that song, I Don't Have to Be Me Till Monday, is, if you look at the top 5 most played country songs of the past 2 decades, 20 years, top 5, it is in that top 5.
Wow.
That's how popular that song is.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, he decided he was moving from Nashville back home to the Delta. And he moved back, and, of course, he's doing all kinds of events and all this kind of stuff, and somehow, he'd been on SuperTalk Mississippi before, and he really liked us, and we, came up with the idea, let's do a show, where you talk to your celebrity friends. And we called it In a Mississippi Minute because he has a song in a Mississippi Minute, and it kind of, was perfect.
Yeah.
A Mississippi Minute takes about an hour, to catch up with somebody like you and I when we're catching up. Well, there goes an hour right there, and so that's kind of the idea behind it. And so he talks to all these celebrities, like John Daly or Michael Waltrip, and he actually did his interview with Michael Waltrip while Michael Waltrip was playing golf and betting against these older guys on the golf course.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he kept. I think he was hustling them, and he was making putts left and right, and he'd get $20 here, and he'd get $5 here. And so by the time the interview ended, Michael Waltrip was, maybe $100 richer.
Hey, it might be one of those like, okay, we're doing this show every time I come to play golf now.
Yeah. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, but it's really neat because his personality comes over so well on the radio to me.
Yeah, and he'll tell you, he's kind of all over the place, and you kind of what a lot of people don't realize is to be one of these mega stars, you kind of have to be all over the place because you got to, you got so many things going at once that you kind of take that type of personality, and that's the kind of the way that he is. He's asking a million different questions at him, and so in a typical hour, you don't get, one question and one answer that's drawn out over an hour. You get, a million questions, and you find out everything about that person.
Absolutely. Another show, Good Things with Rebecca Turner. That's Monday through Friday at 2 to 3. Now, this kind of goes back to what you were talking about a little bit earlier in the show. And, of course, we're talking with Will East right now. How SuperTalk, there's some bad things we got to talk about, but for every bad thing, there's 3 good things. And so this kind of plays off that vibe there with Rebecca Turner's show.
Yeah, this whole idea, this whole concept for Rebecca Turner's show, Rebecca's a nutritionist by trade. Okay. And she was doing some local stuff, and she has this really great personality. She's a really good host, and, we just didn't have an idea, because we mainly do politics and we do some sports.
Yeah.
And Deborah Bryant, First Lady Bryant, was talking to somebody one day, and she said, I just wish there was a show where they would talk about the good things happening in the state. And, our CEO, light bulb went off. That's Rebecca Turner. She's going to talk about the good things going on in the state. And that's what she does. So every day, she's going to talk about, what good is happening in Mississippi. And it's all over the state. And it's not just events or festivals. It's, what cool things are they doing at Mississippi State to advance careers there? What are they doing on the coast, to help, homeless people or something like that? These good things that you normally wouldn't hear about on the news, she brings them to the forefront.
Absolutely. And then Monday through Fridays, you've got Sports Talk Mississippi, kind of a break away from the politics sometimes. Sometimes politics creeps into sports. But Richard, Borky, Hey Dad, Rippy, that crew, kind of the flagship show for the drive time hour there. Just talk about that one because, they've had a little bit to talk about over the last few weeks with some coaching moves and stuff. But yeah, it's a show that's had a little bit of change over the last few years, but still continues to be pretty strong.
It's one of the most unique sports shows you'll listen to because the idea is we have a host, Richard Cross.
Yep.
We have a producer, Michael Borky, who contributes a lot. Pretty much all the content of the show that goes back to Borky. And then you've got a beat writer for Ole Miss, Brian Scott Rippey. You've got a beat writer for Mississippi State, Brian Haydad. And we also have one for Southern Miss, Cody Johnson. And the whole idea is these guys are going to talk about the schools on the show. And, oh, by the way, on Saturdays when they're playing football, they're going to be at the game.
Yep.
They're going to be, courtside, watching the game, covering the game, asking the questions at the basketball game, once the buzzer hits. The whole idea is that they're going to cover those teams from top to bottom, and you're going to hear about it. So they're there with the coaches. It's not just two talking heads, in a room somewhere. They are actually there in the town, whether it be, Starkville, Oxford, or Hattiesburg, and they're going to be following the teams. They know what's happening, and they're going to bring that to the radio every day from 3 to 6.
Absolutely. And, of course, you've got local sports that go on at night, some other programming at night as well. I know Lawrence Larson comes on. Thursday nights, you've got ICC basketball as soon as Sports Talk wraps up. And then maybe one of my all-time favorite shows on Super Talk is Coast to Coast. And that's from, it varies on the weekends. But, man, I remember listening to that show, and I'm one of these people like, you don't have the visual to it, so your mind kind of imagines the things they used to talk about. Of course, it's not with the original guy anymore. I think it's like George Norrie now, but and I can't remember. I can't remember who did the or whenever I was younger. Coast to Coast.
Art Bell.
Yes, man.
Art Bell.
They had some creepy stuff they would talk about because it would be such a great conversation about topics nobody would typically talk about that you kind of played mind tricks on you with that. But that's for another day, another conversation. But you guys also have some shows on the weekends. I know you got Garden Mama, the Handyman Show. I don't know if Billy Kinder Outdoors. I think that's not one locally, but you guys, even on the weekends, you have specialized stuff for people that would like to just listen and learn some things about stuff they don't normally would reach out to be self-educated on.
Garden Mama might be one of the most popular people in the state. I've been some places with her, and she will get recognized, and if they don't recognize her, they hear her voice, then they recognize her, and then they come with the questions. Everybody has some sort of gardening, landscape. They've got a question about it, every single one of them.
Yes.
She can't go to the grocery store without getting 1,000 questions because who knows? I don't know how to do all this stuff. I got no clue, but I can ask her, and she can explain it in a way that I can understand. And then the same thing with Buddy, the Mississippi handyman, who, by the way, used to do the rock and roll thing. I think he opened for the Doors one time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Buddy Slowick, he's originally from Boston, the Boston area, but he's been down here for the past, 40 years or so, and he's Mississippi's handyman. If there's a question about your house, he can answer it. I mean, you ask him something, he will know the answer to it, and he's one of these great people that I've had questions about my house, and I'll call Buddy up and I'll say, hey, what do I need to do with this to fix this gutter up here or something? He'll say, well, you do this, this, and this, and I'll go out there and do that and make it, halfway as good as he could.
Yeah.
And he'll say, you had a problem with this, didn't you? And I go, oh, yeah, I did have a problem with that, because he's so knowledgeable. He knows the mistakes that an average person like me is going to make. It's
Absolutely.
pretty cool.
Well, I won't keep you on speed dial then in that case. Will, I'm up against one more break, and we're going to come back and wrap things up with you. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, we're talking with Will East down at SuperTalk in Jackson. We had a chance to catch up with Coach Michael Metz to talk about the upcoming tennis season here at ICC. So we're going to go to that interview now here on the ICC Hour, being presented by Renaissance Bank. And talking with Coach Metz about the upcoming tennis seasons. And, Coach, before we talk about this season, let's talk about the fall season, a very productive season for both the men and women's teams. So kind of just give us a recap of this fall.
Yeah, well, we traveled probably at least twice as much as we did the fall before, because we felt like we needed that with having like a lot of young people on the team. So we had some success at the ITA tournament. We had 2 winners of the regional tournament there, which is a really big deal in our conference. And then a lot of the sophomores, they got a lot more experience this year than they did last year. So by the time we got to the end, I think our last scrimmage match, everybody was kind of worn out because they hadn't played so much. So it was very productive. I think we got a lot done.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing to have, because I think a lot of kids don't realize, coming from that high school to that college level, it's a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for the freshmen. And we talk about that with all my colleagues here, that there's a big difference between a freshman and a sophomore. And, I think the freshmen were a little bit more tired than the sophomores at the end, because, some of them are used to having a spring season and not much of a fall.
Right.
And so, we got after it a lot this fall. So.
And one guy that had a very successful fall was Franco, I believe.
Roldan, Franco Roldan. Yeah, he finished All-American last year, finished 8th in the country. You obviously don't know who people are bringing in the spring.
Right.
But as far as what we were predicting from the fall, he's probably the top seeded player going into the spring. So we're excited about that. We're going to count on his leadership to help out with the younger guys and to be a strong point for us.
We'll talk about his progression as a freshman to sophomore. What's the biggest progressive you've seen, and what would you like to see him continue to work on leading into the season?
Yeah, so he's a tall kid. He's left-handed, which is a big advantage in tennis. And, when he first got here, we kind of talked about it. We sat down and talked about it. It felt like he wasn't utilizing his frame and his gifts and everything. So one thing we've changed a lot, and I think he would tell you that, is we've improved his net game, his volleys, and trying to get him to use his serve to come to the net more, because you're not going to make a living when you're 6'2", 6'1", tall, lanky kid and hits big ground strokes. He's not going to make a living just going side to side from the baseline. So we've been working on that constantly. We're hoping to see that pay off in the spring, and not just for ICC, but to help him in his future at a 4-year school. That's going to help him to become a big asset for them.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about it there a little bit on his part, but also the other sophomores. What can they do to help bring the freshmen up and kind of just get them to speed whenever the season rolls around?
I think teaching them how to be consistent, teaching them how to fight. freshmen, you never know what you're going to get because you go out there and you can say things are looking great in practice and you don't know how they're going to handle the nerves. Well, these guys were like that last year. They lost a lot of 3-set matches where the nerves just got them and they just almost pulled it out but couldn't do it. And so we've talked about them turning the corner this year and hoping that they can instill some of that with the freshmen and just to get them to calm down and just feel like they belong there. So.
Now, you do coach the women and men, so let's focus on the women right now. All right, so kind of give us an overview of what you can expect or what fans can expect out of this team this year.
Fun to watch, great personalities, a lot of experience. I feel like as a coach, I want my sophomores to be playing so much better than they did as freshmen, and so we have a lot of sophomores on this team. I talked to, especially at the top, our top 4 are sophomores, and so I told them individually, we expect you guys to play like sophomores this year. This is where we're going to turn the corner. So, we have an international at the number 1 spot who can hit as hard or harder than anybody in the league. And when she's on, she's a tough out.
Right.
And then we got another fighter there, and then at number 1 doubles, they're as tough as anybody in the league as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do this year, seeing if we can try to make a trip to nationals for them. So.
All right, and then the same question for the guys. What can we expect to see out of the guys this year?
Yeah, it's a deep league, but at the same time, I don't know that there's like teams that are just unstoppable. I think it's going to be a very competitive league. And so when I talked earlier in the interview about consistency, that's going to be more important than anything. We're going to have to play consistently well because there's going to be 3 or 4 teams that all have a chance to win state. So.
And, of course, you can visit letsgoicc.com for that full schedule. So let's kind of just overview the schedule, not break it down one by one, because I know you're probably still going to – Mother Nature just throw fits into it as soon as we do that. But you guys always play up out of division or out of conference. Really no conference championship. It just leads up to the conference tournament.
Right.
But you guys always play up to get you ready for that end-of-the-year tournament.
Right, and we're going to do that this year. There's been a lot of changes in the league, and starting next year, in 2021, spring of 2021, we will start to have a regular season champion.
Okay.
And then, so every match will count. And we think it's a good thing because sometimes people will protect their players, and that keeps players from having a chance to get a better ranking.
Yeah.
If you get 1 win against Colin and then you sit your player out or something, so it makes everybody have to put their best team out there.
Right.
There are going to be some challenges because we're going to have to play home and away with every team now.
Yeah.
We used to, the further distance teams, we would just rotate. And so now we're already starting to do that this spring. We're supposed to have a week to make it up, and if we don't do that, it won't be the end of the world this year, but next year we're going to have to make sure we play everybody twice. So that is going to make things a little bit more exciting to me. I think it's going to put more weight on the regular season matches. But for this spring, it's still the same. You don't want to say it's just development, but you do have some wiggle room there to make adjustments.
Yeah. And it's good for you as coaches to get that used to see, okay, this is what we have to do in case that does come up where you do have to reschedule.
Absolutely.
And, maybe play 3 matches in a week.
Absolutely. And, this year we voted on it as coaches at the coaches meeting, and Mississippi Gulf Coast will be the host team this year for the state tournament, so we'll be down there. And then moving forward, they'll change it to a format where the number 1 seeded team will be the host team or have the opportunity to host.
Okay.
So, nice. A lot of changes coming, so it's exciting.
It's an exciting time in the MACJC for tennis there. Well, Coach, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
No, just come out and support us this year. We've got a fun group of kids. They're great kids. One of the sad things about my job is I don't get them very long. I get them for 2 years, and then they leave, and you get attached to them, and they're already gone. But this group of kids, not just on the court, but the things that they plan on doing with their careers is really impressive. And so I hope that they'll get people to come out and support them and cheer them on.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time today, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Brought to you by Renaissance Bank, the bank that understands you. Learn more at renaissancebank.com.
At Itawamba Community College, your education is our top priority. With a 20-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, you will get the help that you need from your instructors. With 3 locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden, ICC offers classes that will prepare you to enter almost any job field of your choice. Learn more about Wallet Hub's #1 community college in Mississippi and the 25th best in the country by visiting iccms.edu or apply online at apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Zelle is the new way to move money, and it's already included inside your Renaissance Bank mobile app. No additional downloads, no additional signups. Whether you're paying a friend back for pizza or chipping in for gas, Zelle lets you send money quickly to almost anyone in your contacts. Here's how it works. Open the Renaissance app, log in, and tap the blue button with the white plus sign on it and select Zelle. Choose Send, Request, or Split. Pick who you want to exchange money with, either from your contacts or by entering a phone number or email. Choose the account you want to pay with and select an amount. Review and confirm. To stay organized, you can even include a short description of what each payment is for. That's it. Your money is on the move. Most payments take place in just minutes. No need to download another app. It all happens inside here. Balance the bill, split the check, and pay your way with Zelle. To learn more about Zelle, visit RenaissanceBank.com or download the Renaissance Bank mobile app to start using Zelle today. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Get a Little Caesars large, extra most bestest stuffed crust pizza, topped with pepperoni and cheese, and stuffed with over 3 feet of cheese in the crust. That's right, we stuffed cheese into the crust of the pizza with extra cheese and the most pepperoni, all at the nation's best price of just $9. Try our convenient app and Pizza Portal pickup.
Pizza, pizza. Attention all ICC Alumni Association and Indian Club members. You're invited to join us for the ICC Alumni Association and Indian Club Member Appreciation Night on Monday, February the 3rd. Members will get free admission to the Northeast Games, food and drinks will be provided, and you'll be able to visit with ICC coaches and staff. Not a member of the Alumni Association or Indian Club yet? You're still invited to come be a part of the evening and sign up to become a member that evening as well. For more information or questions, call 662-862-8039. That's 662-862-8039. And continuing our conversation here with the iconic, the legendary, the myth, the man, the legend that is Will East. By the way, you can listen to me and Will on my podcast, More with Gore podcast. We give an ode to Kay Bain with her recent announcement of her retirement. Will, before we get a little bit more into the show, just real quick for our listeners here, when I mention the name Kay Bain, what's one of the first things that jump in your mind?
Waking up to go to school, on some random Wednesday, and my mom's got the Captain Crunch poured. I get up, I'm groggy, and then she's singing on the TV. Got a new quilt behind her, and they're just at almost dawn they're singing songs, and I can barely move, and I'm a child. That's
Yes.
kind of my memory of Kay Bain.
Absolutely. You can visit my podcast. I'm sorry for the cheap plug here, but it's MWG, More with Gore, MWGpod.fireside.fm. You can hear Willis and I talk for about 30 minutes about Kay Bain and her life and just the interesting things that was Kay Bain in her television career. If Miss Kay happens to be listening, we wish you the best going forward, and thank you for all the awesome things you did for North Mississippi throughout your career. All right, Will, so we were talking about earlier all the things going on at SuperTalk Mississippi. Just tell everybody about your job and what it is that you do down there, what all it entails, because there's a lot more that goes into getting on the radio than just sitting down and talking for a few hours.
Yeah, I've pretty much heard cats all day. So, 1 minute I might be talking with, one of the hosts about some questions that we're going to ask the lieutenant governor or something like that. And the next minute I might be, fixing a computer that's broken. So I'm kind of all over the place, and really my job is to just kind of be a caretaker. So to make sure that things get done when they need to get done, and we put out the best product possible. And we've changed over the years. We're continuing to evolve. We got some new programming things that are coming up over the next few months. With some of our syndicated programming, we're trying to improve, and it's a constant change. You can never get stale, and that's kind of one of the things that we're always working on, is that we kind of constantly refresh ourselves. And also, too, we're all over the state, so there's always something going on from one end of the state to the other. You might have something happening in, let's say, Meridian, or you might have something happening in Bogue Chitto. You never know where that next event is going to be. And we also have a news partner, News Mississippi, who keeps up with all that. So there's always something going on in the state, and we just try to, like I said, try to wrestle cat or try to herd cats. We're trying to make sure that we get the information that you need as a Mississippian to you as quickly and as accurately as possible.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about being able to listen live. You talk about that evolution of continuing to stay fresh, stay on top of things. You can also watch live, and I know we partner with the same people here at ICC through WSN. Charlie Helms and that company does a great job for us, equally for you guys. Talk about that unique aspect of radio now kind of becoming television.
Yeah, the thing that we've always said in the radio industry is radio people can go into TV, but TV people cannot go into radio.
Right.
And so this is our attempt to get our radio people on TV. So we have supertalk.tv or supertalk.fm/watch. Either one works, but you can go there and you can watch the Gallo show, you can watch the JT show, and you can watch Good Things with Rebecca Turner. You can also watch it on demand, and you kind of see what goes on behind the scenes, because a lot of times, especially during an election year or right before a primary or something like that, there'll be, a candidate in there who is in the hot seat.
Yeah.
And you'll see the fireworks. And guess what? When we go to commercial break, the camera stays on. Now, the mics aren't on,
right,
but the camera stays on, and you can see them interact. And that's kind of interesting. Sometimes that's the most fun part, is what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you that insight, that true inside look there as well. Now, of course, Will, we always like to tie things in here. You are a alumnus of ICC. So talk about when you were at ICC, and maybe just some memories that you can talk about on the radio, I should say, but some of the memories that you take with you from your time at ICC.
Well, I'm one of the few people who went to a place like ICC, and I managed to leave there in no less than 3 years, Adam.
Hey, me and you both.
3 years. I'm not one built for school, but I loved my time at ICC. My uncle was the band director at ICC for a long time, David East.
Okay.
And so I knew I was going to ICC. When it come time to go to college, I knew I was going to ICC first, and then Ole Miss after that. And so I tried to get the most out of it. I remember having was Coach Rick Collier?
Yes, he's still here.
He's still there. I remember I took several classes underneath him, and I loved him. He was awesome. I wish I was good enough to play baseball. I'd love to play baseball underneath him, but just a lot of great memories. And you could probably correct me on the professor's name, but who's the professor on campus who has that photographic memory?
Bobby Gerald.
Yeah.
Yes.
That guy. He was so great. I had one or two classes underneath him. He could probably tell you how many classes I had underneath him, because he has a photographic memory.
Yeah.
But I had, one or two classes underneath him, and he was so awesome. Those unique personalities that, only a small community college like ICC would have. Just some great, great people there.
Absolutely. And Will, we appreciate your time today, man. And once again, kind of give everybody the plugs where they can listen. Of course, there's numerous stations, but where they can find out how they can listen statewide.
Anywhere. We're all across the state. You can, if you're in a county in Mississippi, we have a signal that hits you. They vary from top to bottom, but in Tupelo you got 101.9 WFTA. You can also listen online at supertalk.fm/listen. You can watch online at supertalk.fm/watch. We've got apps for iOS and Android, and you can also listen on Alexa now. And you can also listen to Adam Gore every day on Alexa. Just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Tupelo, and boom, there you go.
Wow. So a lot of people are going to be turning their Alexa off now that you promoted that. But Will, we appreciate you taking time out of the day, man. And look, next time you're up home or next time I'm in Jackson, we need to get together, man. It's been a long time, and we need to catch up. And you big time in me now. You in the big city of Jackson. You don't forget about us small folks up here.
I don't know about all that. I miss home sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, Will, we appreciate your time today, man. And I'll see you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy.
And that was Will East joining us here on the ICC Hour. We're going to take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors and come back with more of the ICC Hour being presented by Renaissance Bank right after this on SuperTalk Mississippi. At Itawamba Community College, your education is our top priority. With a 20-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, you will get the help that you need from your instructors. With 3 locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden, ICC offers classes that will prepare you to enter almost any job field of your choice. Learn more about Wallet Hub's #1 community college in Mississippi and the 25th best in the country by visiting iccms.edu or apply online at apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you, wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I could go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best start here.
And welcome back one final time here on the ICC Hour. I appreciate everyone taking time out there today to listen in. Don't forget you can go back and listen to previous episodes by visiting our Itawamba Community College YouTube page. Simply search ICC Hour there on YouTube or visit the on-demand section on letsgoicctv.com. We do want to encourage everyone to join us Thursday night as we'll have our Game of the Week here on SuperTalk Mississippi, 101.9 FM, as ICC basketball will be on the road at Northwest. Of course, those games will come your way following Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll join those games already in progress there as well. And don't forget, on Friday, we'll have our first softball game of the year, of course. That's weather pending on Friday. It'll be at 1 o'clock at ICC, number 7 in the country, the defending MACJC champions. You can check that game out on letsgoicctv.com, the red channel. That's at 1 o'clock as softball is here, folks. Tennis is on the road on Friday. Again, weather pending. They'll be at East Central. You can find those schedules and more at letsgoiccc.com. All right, so we're going to close out today's show by revisiting an interview with Coach Michael Metz. We've already talked with Michael Metz, but with Michael Upton talking about an upcoming event here at ICC, the ICC Alumni Association and Indian Club Membership Appreciation Night, and that's going to wrap up today's show. Join us next week here on Super Talk Mississippi, 101.9 FM, and join us Thursday night for basketball following Sports Talk Mississippi. Have a blessed day, and as always, Roll Tribe. Now talking with Michael Upton about a big event coming up at ICC on February the 3rd. And Michael, let you tell everybody about it.
Thank you, Adam. On February 3rd, at the night of the basketball games against the Northeast Tigers, we're having a Alumni Association and Indian Club Member Appreciation Night at the game.
All right, so that's everybody that's a member of the Alumni Association, obviously Indian Club as well. So they get in free. Have access to hospitality rooms, especially for them, and get to mix and mingle with some of the coaches. So why is an event like this important for you guys?
Well, it's a way for us to say thank you for the people who support the college by being Alumni Association members and support our student athletes through the Indian Club. We just want to say thank you and get a chance to visit with you. We want you to come out, support our teams that night, and get a chance to meet some of the coaches that you support as well.
All right, so it starts at 5 and goes till 8, so pretty much get the full length of the game. We're playing Northeast, so you want to come out and cheer the good guys and the girls to victory there on that as well. So just talk about, real quick, let's break it down one by one. We'll start with the Alumni Association. A lot of unique perks and benefits for joining the Alumni Association.
Yes, we are actually in the process right now of expanding some of those perks. You get publications each year that let you know and the updates of things that are going on with the Alumni Association, discount programs, different places, free admission to all ICC athletic events. And as I said, we are currently in the process of working on a few that we're negotiating to provide some added benefits to those who support it. And of course, the funds that are raised from those Alumni Association dues are used by our alumni board to benefit our students here at the college as well.
Absolutely. That's what it all goes back to, is benefiting those students and also student athletes as well. And that's where the Indian Club comes in play. Is a great way to give back if you're a former student athlete to the programs that you came through.
Exactly. Or even if you weren't a former student athlete and you just want to support a particular program that you have great interest in, by giving to the Indian Club, you can give generally and help all the athletic department, or you can give to specific sports. It allows those coaches and those programs to have additional resources to make the program better for those student athletes, whether it's to provide them for necessary equipment or help with travel costs, or maybe even to make sure we have the best we can to help them with their academic studies. It's all about supporting the students.
Absolutely. Now, we talked with you earlier in the year along with Mr. Jim, and you guys have been doing a great job. What is the biggest takeaway you've had so far in your new role here at the college?
Well, I would say it is wonderfully welcoming to know how many people are involved. I came in not knowing, how many people were involved as Alumni Association members, Indian Club members, donors, and to see how many of our alums and even non-alums who support our programs as well has been very surprising and welcoming. And the growth, we've had a lot of new scholarships have been established this past semester, and we're working on several more. So the momentum that we've got going is really nice.
All right, so say there's somebody out there right now that would be interested in maybe establishing a scholarship in memory of someone or donating to a current scholarship as well. How can they go about getting in touch with you guys?
They can call our office here at 662-862-8039, or they can email me, maupton@iccms.edu, and we'd be glad to talk with you and share with you information how scholarships can be started, the different types of scholarships we have, also academic support funds, other ways of supporting programs. If a scholarship is not the thing you're most interested in, we can find ways to help you help ICC.
And then, of course, you don't work alone. You got two great individuals that work with you here in this department. So let's just talk about Tilda and Jim and all the great work they do as well.
Yes, they do wonderful work and have been so welcoming to me since I got here this past semester. Jim is our director of the foundation, and he spends so much time working with our scholarship donors, our scholarship recipients, making sure that things are really lined up perfectly there, and that the funds are supporting the students properly, and that we're letting our donors know who they're helping and how it's helping them, and just keeping those relationships going very strong. And Ms. Tilda is the lifeblood of our operation here. She manages our systems, our records, our bookkeeping for the foundation, just really keeps things flowing on a day-to-day basis and lets me know where I'm supposed to be.
And so, in other words, she's got her hands full.
Amen.
All right, so once again, that event coming up on February the 3rd is the Alumni Association and Indian Club Member Appreciation Night. If you're not a member, you can join now, but if not, you guys also be taking membership drive that night?
Exactly. This event, while designated for our current members of those two groups, is open to the public if you want to join. If you're not sure if you're a member or not, we will have lists to double check, but we'll have the opportunity to join the Alumni Association or to join the Indian Club that night and come on in, visit with us, and support ICC students.
And we'll have more information available on letsgoicc.com as well as our Twitter pages. Michael, anything else you want to add before we cut you loose, man?
We appreciate everyone's support. Come on out on February 3rd.